I was looking in the congregation to see if I saw Cindy. For those who wouldn't know, Cindy's my wife, and she said she was coming to this Mass. Are you here, Cindy, somewhere? Remember you older folks? Remember when your parents would drop you off at church and you would go and run a bulletin, grab a bulletin, and then you'd run down to like Donna's Donuts and you would take the bulletin home and tell your folks you weren't to church? So when I call Cindy out on not being here, you're my witnesses. She's at Donna's Donuts or something. I don't know where she is. Yeah. I was at my son's house, his apartment, and I used their restroom. It's just one of those small starter apartments, one-bedroom things. And in the bathroom is hanging a sign that says something like, remember to be humble. No, I think it said, stay humble. Why would they hang that in their bathroom? What a weird thing. Somebody has trouble with being humble. And so they have to see it every day. Isn't that right? Some of us are like that, That's something I'd like to see in my bathroom every day. Stay humble. Stay humble. Or just, Steve, you're here to serve. Just love the people and serve. I could say it like a mantra, and then I'd be a good priest. Love the people and serve. But I can't just read it once in a book somewhere and say, oh yeah, I'm here to serve, I'm here to love. I have to be reminded all the time. How many of you, when you worked, if you're retired or still work, when you go into work almost every day, you have to say, don't let them get to you. Don't let them get to you. You say it over and over all day, every day. Be holy. Don't let them get to you. Don't gossip. I'm not going to gossip today. I'm not going to do these things. And so what I was learning about human nature today is we can't just preach that Jesus died on the cross. We get together every single week with the cross here, and we relive it every week, that crucifixion, that sacrifice of our Lord. Everything we do as human nature, we have to do it all the time or we lose it. Isn't that right? Steve, be a good husband. Be a good husband. Be a good husband. There was a movie, Family Man, where Nick Cage was this great single bachelor, and he's really living up life. He's rich, tearing it up. And so he gets this weird thing happens to him, and he gets a glimpse where all of a sudden he wakes up one morning and he's married to a woman. And he wakes up with her, and he's married, and he runs away. He runs back to New York, and he comes back lost because everyone in New York doesn't know him because his whole life's changed. He's now not that guy anymore. He's some guy that's married living outside of New York. And so he runs into his best friend, and his best friend's trying to talk him through this, thinking he's got the Christmas blues. And he says to his best friends, I'm married. And he said, yeah, boy, say it like a mantra. Say, I'm married. Just say it like a mantra. Because he was working through that idea of being married, but it was a play on the fact that Nick Cage wasn't. It was just a glimpse he was getting. So yeah, we have to repeat things over and over to ourselves. Don't let them get to you. We're driving our cars. Share the road. Here's a good one for you when you're driving your car. Just say it like all the time. Share the road. Share the road. Share the road. Just let everyone in, man. Share the road. That's a beautiful one. So this homily, as much as any other homilies, more than anything else probably, is about who we are. And it's about who we are not, just ideally, but who we are really, practically. We are a Eucharistic people, right here. Eucharist means thanksgiving. So we're a thankful people. So let me begin by saying thanks to all of you for supporting our parish with your presence, with your thoughts, with your time, with your many talents, and with your faithful tithe. This week we want to talk about stewardship because we can't preach about it just once and we get it. We have to say it over and over again. God called us to be good stewards. I am a good steward. There's nothing in this world that's mine. Everything in this world is God's. And I'm called to give it all back to God. Isn't that right? And so, I didn't know this, but Deacon Ken works in the diocese too. I knew that much. But one of the highest level people in the diocese, very top level person, took him aside one day and said to him, he had a pad of paper. She said, "Tell me everything you do at Holy Redeemer. I want to get it all." And she wrote like pages and pages and pages about you, about what you do when we gather together. She said, and I think you should know this, you're the model. You're the model of stewardship. You're the model of discipleship. You're the model of where the church is going as we look forward into the future. How cool is that? You didn't know it, did you? I mean, we're just here, just all of us, right? Together, loving each other, but we didn't know that other people were watching us in that way. So you lead the diocese in these truths and in this way of life. So thank you for all that you have done to get that reputation. And thanks again for all your faithful support. I really do think this, that people want to give. I think it's in our nature. People want to be generous. It makes us happy, doesn't it? To do that, to do something good for someone. People want to follow Jesus' teaching on stewardship. Sometimes we just need to hear it again, and we just need to hear it over and over again. And sometimes we just need permission to be generous. That's normal. That's good. Permission to follow Jesus. The problem with the rich man in the Bible is not that he was rich or that he wants to create more wealth. Do it. Go for it. Live life fully. That honors God. The problem is that he wants to claim it as his own, and he wants to use his riches for himself. The inner drive to do that, to make me the primary recipient of my gifts, that's in all of us, isn't it? It is part of the primitive instinct for what? Self-preservation. There is a time-proven way to counter that inner instinct, that drive. The Israelites were taught by God, by Moses, to give the first fruits of the harvest to God. First fruits of the harvest went to God. Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. Do you know what first fruits means? Yeah, of course you do. We call it giving off the top. Giving in this way sets a direction to your whole life, to my whole life. It'll change us, it'll change our parish, and it offsets the instinct to put ourselves first. We can make a difference if we begin to think that I am first of all going to give some of my time. First of all, going to give some of my talents. First of all, give some of my money to the work of the Lord. Jesus said, I have not come to be served, but to serve. How can we begin to use our time, our talents, and our resources to serve first of all? And the best way to live as a disciple of Jesus in an abundant society like America is to give off the top of all our resources. I had this urge to have you say it back. Give off the top. Can I hear that? Lame. Say it again. Give off the top. Yeah, I'm sorry. I went to this school and there was this preacher and he always made people repeat what he said. Then he said, now stand up and say it. Now turn around and say it. I won't make you do all that. When people seek, are you ready for this? People like you, when people seek to take measure of their spiritual lives, God, how am I doing? They examine prayer, honesty, faithfulness to their spouse, gossip, on, stuff like that, right? But the fact is, the one, single, most reliable, most accurate practical measure of our spiritual lives, how we stand with God, is our use of money. Let me say that one more time. Listen well. The one most reliable, most accurate, practical measure of our spiritual lives, how we stand with God, is how we use our money. It was much on the mind of Jesus. 16 of his 38 parables, more than half, almost half, were concerned with how to handle money and possessions. In the Gospels, an amazing 1 out of 10 verses deals directly with the subject of money. The whole Bible offers 500 verses on prayer, 500 on prayer, 500 verses on faith, but more than 2,000 verses on money and possessions. That's because we need to hear it over and over again. Think about that. It was the part of our lives that Jesus was especially concerned with. Last year, or this year, we did a soft sell on the DSA because Deacon wanted to preach on transformation so much. He wanted our hearts to be transformed. So he said, you know what you did last year. Do it this year. Do the same thing. Well, it doesn't work that way. We have to hear it over and over. We have to be inspired over and over. We have to be challenged over and over in our lives and in our souls. And so, I want to talk to you about DSA today because, actually, usually by now we're done. We're about halfway or less there on our DSA goal, and about half as many people have participated this year as last year. So I want to say, let's all of us participate now. Let's all of us participate by giving now. And I wanted Cindy to be here. I was looking for her for a reason, Deacon. I haven't given yet. I haven't turned my envelope in. So, if you haven't turned your envelope in, you're in good company if I'm in good company. And if you have, this is a message we all have to hear all the time anyways. We're God's stewards. We're not owners of anything. All the things we have are God's gifts. The only thing I can give back to God is just my sin. Everything else, God's given to me. Here's my sins, God, forgive them, show mercy, and just set me on your path of life. So, here's how I do it personally, and I'd like to invite you to join me, and I'd like everyone to follow this model. So, last year I gave 8% in my tithe. Probably not true, I gave a little more. 2% to DSA, and 2% to what's that thing we did? Witness to Hope. The bishop wanted Witness to Hope. I'm still giving to that, okay? So 8%, 2%, and 2% is 12%. I only want you to do 10%. 8% to your tithe to the church of your income, and 2% of your income give to the DSA, whatever that is. Or join me. I give a little more because I love my bishop. I want to support him just all the way. And so I give $1,000. You know why I give $1,000? He asked me to. He said, will some of you priests just start giving $1,000 so that other people will see your good faith and join in with that? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Look at all the good things he's done for me, allowing me to do so much in this parish. And so this year I'd like to invite everyone here to walk together with me and with everyone else. This is God's way. There's no opting out, not for those who believe, for those who are people of faith. I believe, and I believe that you believe. We are people who believe. We are people who are thankful. And this year I would challenge you to be a people who fully embrace tithing stewardship. God is rich and calls us to live rich and generous lives. What a wonderful God we serve. I would say what a wonderful diocese we have. I say what a wonderful bishop too, but certainly, what a wonderful parish I serve. And what a wonderful faith we have.